Hey everyone, it's Morrigan Dread here, bringing you another chilling collection of real horror stories that'll keep you up at night. Today, we've got 5 terrifying tales sent in by you, and I want to thank everyone who shared these spine-chilling experiences. Ready to dive into the unknown? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your own creepy stories in the comments. Imagine coming home and seeing a strange figure rummaging in your backyard, only to find no one there. This happened to me at 6 years old, and it still haunts me. This story comes from Ethan, who grew up in Salem, Massachusetts. He's okay with using real names, so let's jump in. Back in 2006, Ethan was just 6, living with his mum and grandparents in an old house. While his mum worked, he spent most days with his sweet grandma Eleanor, who loved knitting. But that house, it had a dark secret that still bugs Ethan, even though he's a skeptic now. Ethan's grandparents moved into the house years before he was born. It had a heavy past. The previous family lost a child who drowned in the backyard well, always covered by an eerie silence. In the back, there was a shed where Ethan's grandpa, a hoarder, stored junk. Relatives who stayed there never lasted long, like the place pushed them out. One uncle turned to alcoholism, and an aunt once collapsed in a trance, needing church folks to help. One quiet afternoon, Ethan got home from school and played near the shed. Everything was still, almost too quiet. Then he noticed a heavy-set woman in tattered clothes, a dirty skirt and a headscarf, picking up bags and debris by the shed door. He didn't think much of it, assuming she was a friend of his grandma. Ethan ran to the living room and asked Eleanor who the woman was. She dropped her knitting, rushed to the backyard, but no one was there. The gate was padlocked, and a walk around the block turned up nothing. Ethan described the woman in detail. Heavy-set, ragged skirt, headscarf. Eleanor's face went pale. Eleanor revealed that, years ago, a family friend matching that exact description died falling into a septic tank nearby. The family was split. Some thought Ethan's imagination was running wild, but Eleanor and a few aunts believed him, saying he had a gift. Later, an aunt suggested the spirit was tied to Grandpa's hoarding, feeding off the old junk in the shed. Ethan never forgot that woman. So real, yet impossible. Was it a spirit trapped in the house, or a kid's overactive imagination? What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments and subscribe for more creepy stories. Huge thanks, Ethan, for this chilling tale. Wow, Ethan. What a story. I can just imagine Eleanor's shock. I'm leaning toward a spirit tied to that house, maybe that neighbor, stuck reliving her past. Or it could be residual energy. Old houses soak up a lot. But with that place's history, I'd bet on a haunting. Thanks so much for sharing. Loved it. Ever locked eyes with a scarecrow and felt it staring back? At 14, I saw something that still makes my blood run cold. This tale comes from Noah, from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. In 2020, when he was 14, he lived in a rural area between a town and a village, surrounded by woods. Noah's house was 400 yards off the highway, near farms and fields. Let's dive into this eerie story about a scarecrow that was anything but ordinary. Noah went to help his friend Liam pick apples on a huge farm. In the middle of the field stood a terrifying scarecrow, a mannequin in a brown cape, straw hat, and a dirty white mask, nailed to a broken wooden cross. The vibe was so heavy that Noah and Liam hurried past, feeling uneasy. At the farm, the caretaker, an old man, sat peeling an apple with a shotgun by his side, looking worried He led them to the orchard, but kept glancing back nervously. When Liam asked what was wrong, the caretaker muttered, "The shadow came early today." Noah and Liam laughed it off, but felt a chill. It was nearly dusk, and the boys climbed the apple trees. Noah, a bit spooked, scrambled up fast to avoid being alone. As they worked, they heard footsteps crushing leaves below. Peering down, they saw a figure in a hat and cape moving through the twilight. Frozen, hearts pounding, they watched the figure slip into the woods toward a farm path and vanish. After waiting 5 minutes, they bolted down, grabbed their bags, and ran to the farmhouse, leaving the apples behind. The caretaker, shotgun in lap, drove them home. The next day, they returned and saw the scarecrow back on its cross. But muddy boot prints circled its base, as if it had walked. Noah later learned the caretaker burned the old scarecrow, replacing it with a friendlier one. But those muddy prints haunt him still. Was it the scarecrow, or something darker? Share your theory in the comments and subscribe for more terrifying tales. Noah, thanks for this creepy story. Yikes, Noah, that's chilling. Scarecrows are creepy enough, but one that moves. Those boot prints get me. I think something was off with that scarecrow, maybe a spirit or cursed energy. Thanks for sharing. This one's gonna stick with me. I stepped into an elevator expecting a quick ride, but ended up in a place that wasn't my building or my world. With a story from Sophie, from Rochester, New York. In 2023, she traveled to Norfolk, Virginia, to spend Christmas and New Year's with her boyfriend's family. Everything seemed perfect until a New Year's Eve elevator ride turned her world upside down. Let's get into it. Sophie was excited, but on New Year's Eve, an odd anxiety hit her. Her boyfriend's sister lived on the 11th floor of a fancy building with 2 elevators, service and social, and a rooftop with a pool and beach view. Feeling suffocated, Sophie decided to head to the rooftop alone for some air. She called the elevator, but only the service 1 arrived. It stopped on the 17th floor, but the hallway was dark, with no one there, despite motion sensor lights. Spooked, she tried returning to the 11th, but the elevator went to the rooftop first. Determined, she called the social elevator and hit R again. When the doors opened, she was back on the 17th floor, not the rooftop. The hallway felt decayed, heavy, like something out of a nightmare. The elevator slammed shut, leaving her stranded. Panicked, she pressed the button repeatedly until the service elevator returned, carrying a strange couple. The couple, dressed in black with a briefcase, stared at Sophie and said, "This isn't your floor, get out." She jumped in, hit the 11th floor button, but the elevator took her to the rooftop. There, the market was overgrown with thorny plants, the pool empty and slimy, with a sulfur stench. Terrified, she re-entered the elevator, which finally took her to the 11th floor, where everything seemed normal. Sophie returned to the apartment, realizing she'd been gone over an hour, though it felt like 10 minutes. She never told the family and avoids elevators alone now. Was it another dimension? Or her mind playing tricks? Tell me in the comments and subscribe for more spooky stories. Thanks, Sophie, for this wild tale. Sophie, what a ride. That courage to step out on the rooftop. Wow, I think you slipped into some parallel dimension, like a nowhere floor. Maybe it was a warning to stay away from the roof. Thanks for sharing. This one's intense. Every night at 10 sharp, a man with a bloody knife appeared in our yard. The scariest part, he wasn't alive. And this story comes from Olivia, from York, England. In the late 80s, her mum, teenage Lily, faced something that scarred their family. It was an ordinary night in their quiet town. But what happened in their backyard was anything but. Let's dive in. Lily was alone at home, with her mom in the hospital and her brothers out. At 10 p.m., leaning against the garden wall, she saw a man round the corner, hurrying with a large knife in hand. She hid, then ran inside, locked the doors, and turned off the lights. Moments later, Lily saw the man's silhouette pass the hallway window, heading to the backyard, then leaving. The next day, news broke that a woman was stabbed to death in a nearby pub. Lily's older brother found a bloodied knife buried in leaves in their yard. The brother disposed of the knife, avoiding police involvement. But from then on, every night at 10, the man's silhouette reappeared, pacing to the backyard. Soon, relentless knocking on all doors and windows kept the family awake until dawn. Exhausted, the brothers set up an ambush, one in a tree by the gate, another in a pear tree in the yard, and one in the back. At 10 p.m., the knocking started, but no one was seen. When Lily and her mum stayed at a neighbour's, the knocks followed. The neighbour's son struggled to hold the door against an invisible force. A brother fired a shotgun, yelling, "Go back to hell." Instantly, silence fell, and the torment stopped. The haunting never returned. Olivia thinks the spirit of the murdered woman was chasing Lily for not reporting the knife. What's your take? Spirit or something else? Share in the comments and subscribe for more creepy tales. Olivia, thanks for this haunting story. Olivia, that's terrifying. I bet that woman's spirit wanted justice, and tossing the knife kept her trapped. Your uncle's shotgun blast must have scared it off. Thanks for sending this. It's a wild one. My boyfriend worked a gig at a millionaire's party, but what he saw in that manor left him shaken for weeks. With a story from Lucas, from Bristol, England. In 2019, his boyfriend Oliver worked as a waiter at high-end events. One night, he was called to a party at a lavish manor in London, but what seemed like a glamorous gig turned into a chilling mystery. Oliver arrived at the manor, a place straight out of a movie, with luxury cars and security guards. 9 waiters, including Oliver, were led by a stern butler, Mr. Henry, to an outdoor event space. Everything was top-notch, fine drinks, elegant guests. But the manor staff looked miserable and silent. While taking a smoke break outside, Oliver saw a black car pull up. A man in a black hat and cape stepped out with 2 children in white outfits. Guards whisked the kids away, while the man joined the party, where guests kissed his hand. Oliver, uneasy, returned to work. In the kitchen, Oliver overheard 2 staff members whisper, "The warlock's here. It's going to be one of those nights." At 1 a.m., Mr. Henry dismissed the waiters in groups of 3. As Oliver left, the music stopped, and guests stared at a curtained area. A co-worker, Ethan, whispered he'd seen an altar behind the curtain with a goat-headed figure. Mr. Henry scolded him for looking. The waiters were ushered out, paid £100 for transport, and took Ubers to a nearby station. Waiting there, they all admitted the manor's vibe felt wrong, like something sinister was brewing. Oliver never returned to the manor, but still wonders about those kids and what happened after the waiters left. A secret ritual? Something darker? Share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe for more eerie stories. Lucas, thanks for this gripping tale. Lucas, what a creepy story. That manor sounds like a horror film set. I'm betting it was some secret ritual. Those rich folks have weird tastes. I just hope those kids were okay. Thanks for sharing. This one's unforgettable. Wow, what a lineup. Huge thanks to Ethan, Noah, Sophie, Olivia, and Lucas for these bone-chilling stories. Which one freaked you out the most? Drop it in the comments, hit that like button, and subscribe for more terrifying tales. Stay safe out there, and watch out for what lurks in the dark. Bye for now.